Professional fight, Grant. Tell us about the professional rules.
Well, the professional rules are the creme de la creme of the MMA rules. So everything that was illegal before is not illegal, basically. We have 5-minute rounds. So these fights are all going to be 3 5-minute rounds. You are not going to obviously wear any chin protection. You're allowed to kick to the head. You're allowed to knee to the head. You're allowed to elbow to the head. You can elbow and punch to the head of a grounded opponent. You are not allowed to knee to the head of the grounded opponent. You are allowed to do twisting leg locks, as we experienced earlier. You're allowed to do heel hooks, spinal twists. Pretty much everything's legal except poking people in the eyes and biting them. And there's longer time limits and stuff like that. It's going to be a good time. We got our first professional bout of the evening. You want to tell us about that there, Charlie?
I'm looking forward to this one. Dalton Brady versus Jason Alexander. Grant, they fought before. This is a rematch, and both of these guys really want it.
Absolutely.
I'm really impressed by Dalton Brady and his submission ability, and Jason Alexander. It's a pro fight. We're ready to go.
We saw them fight as amateurs, actually, in their last fight. They battled pretty hard, and it was for the title at their weight class as amateur fighters. Both of them moved up to pro, and now they're having a rematch immediately after their last fight. It's going to be very exciting. Their last fight was a very good submission win. We've got Dalton Brady, tail of the tape, 20 years of age, 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 135 pounds. He has an undefeated amateur record of 6 wins and 0 losses, professional 0 wins. Jason Alexander, 27 years of age, 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 135 pounds. He has a professional record of 1 win and 0 losses.
Jason's only loss was to Dalton Brady, so now is their first pro fight. They're going to get to even this up, maybe. I know that's what Jason Alexander's looking for, but I don't think Dalton's going to let that happen very easily.
Here we have Jason Alexander making his way to the cage, a very slick submission specialist. I'm sorry, that's Dalton Brady, and I knew that too. I'm just talking funny.
That's Team Ascension.
A little funny. Team Ascension, you know. Hey, you know what? I want to tell you about something, Charlie. When I was growing up, my granddad used to take me down to the corner store. He would buy me a hoagie, right? And you know what he used to like to say? Can't have a hoagie without a Coke. And I would say, it's a good point, Grandpa. He'd say it helps with the digestion. But you know what? I don't like Coke. I don't like Coca-Cola. I don't like colas.
What do you prefer?
I've always wondered, is there some way, some possible way that I can get like a carbonated, like a pop drink, but it has different flavors? It sounds crazy, I know, like a grape maybe, or a strawberry, or a cherry, or a bubble gum. And then I found out about Red Ribbon Soda Works by Natrona Bottling Company, okay? Red Ribbon Soda Works is the future of pop drinkers, okay? If you want to have that carbonation, that fizzly-dizzly in your belly, and you want to have some weirdo flavors that you can't get at the local convenience store, you got to go to Red Ribbon Soda Works. Natrona Bottling Company was renowned in the Pennsylvania area. Obviously, I believe they bottled Rolling Rock for years and years, but as of right now, they're focusing on this Red Ribbon thing. If you haven't drank Red Ribbon Soda Works, I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. You're not trying hard enough to entertain your palate. You probably don't don't care about anything in your life if you don't care about how you drink your soda. I mean, you probably don't even clean your car. Red Ribbon Soda Works, the future of soda drinking. We have a flavor for every taste.
He represents Three Elements MMA from Erie, Jason Alexander.
Dalton Brady looks really focused, really loose.
And Dalton Brady had a very slick submission over Jason Alexander in their last fight.
That was giving Jason Alexander his only loss, and I know Jason Alexander wants this fight. Got a chance to talk to these guys, and I call Jason the quiet assassin. He's very, very quiet, doesn't like to talk much. He believes actions speak louder than words. You know, this is our first pro fight of the evening, and we are actually going to have 4 more fights tonight. And I bet if we would get to that main event, the last fight, I bet people would still have time to go check this out somewhere that's streaming it live.
You know, I would have to agree with you. I'm sure, I'm positive, somewhere in this city, there are hordes, loads of mixed martial arts fans of the local area, and they're probably on streampittsburgh.com watching the fight at their laptop. I don't know, maybe drinking a Red Ribbon Soda Works drink. But I tell you what you can do. If you want, you can get yourself over to Permane Brothers in Harmerville. Permane Brothers, a Pittsburgh favorite with their sandwiches, is having specials tonight on Coors Light and Molson Canadian beer. If you get over there now, you leave your house, you can get there in time to watch the fights being streamed live on their big screen TVs. You could even watch these last 4 fights. Professional bouts. It's not the UFC. This is Pittsburgh, baby. This is local. These are dudes that they work down the street from you. And these are guys you can see at the local. You can go down to the Robinson Mall. You might run into one of these guys, all right? Get over to Permane's in Harmerville. Eat a delicious sandwich. Get the egg on your Permane's Brothers sandwich, okay? You got to get the egg. Get the double meat, all right? It's good that you got to make sure you get a lot of coleslaw on that thing. Get over there now. Watch the fights. Jason Alexander coming to the cage, looking happy, looking ready to fight.
His last fight was actually in King of the Cage. So, staying active back here at Gladiators, the cage. He's looking for this. He really wants to revenge his last loss.
We'd like to welcome everyone watching us live at Permane Brothers in Harmerville. Welcome. Our next fight is the first professional fight of the evening, and it's in the Gladiators of the Cage professional bantamweight division, and this calls for 3 5-minute rounds. First introducing, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 136 pounds. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, 20 years of age. He's making his professional debut this evening right here. He fights for Modern Vision MMA and Team Ascension from Welland, Ontario, Canada, Dalton the Donkey Brady. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 136 pounds, also standing 5 feet 6 inches tall, 27 years of age, a professional record of 1 win, no losses. He fights for 3 elements, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA from Erie, Pennsylvania, Jason Alexander. Referee Chip Snyder.
First professional fight of the night, Grant.
Very excited to see what's going to happen with these two guys. Both are very fast, explosive fighters.
Look how fast Dalton is.
Oh my gosh. He's on his back. That's not exactly a bad thing either.
Not for Dalton, that's for certain. If I'm Jason, I'm going to keep him smothered up against that cage. I'm not going to let Dalton turn his head towards the center of the cage and create space. He has a very, very good guard, a good rubber guard. He attacks very well up high. Very flexible is Dalton. Jason's already experienced that in their last encounter, so I'm sure he's took a lot from that fight and really tried to map out the perfect game plan to beat Dalton.
It always scares me whenever you see somebody stick their toes in the cage. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time when somebody's going to look up and just elbow your foot with your toes in the cage, and your toes are just going to get sheared off.
Yeah.
That's just me. It's kind of grosses me out to think about it. Get your toes out of the cage, man. You're going to break your toes off.
Dalton has extremely fast hips. It's interesting that you're allowed to use your toes in the cage, but you can't use your fingers.
Yeah, I think about that too. What if you had unusually long toes?
Are you picking on me, Grant?
I'm not. I like your toes, man. All right, it's one of the things about you I like. It's probably the only thing about you I like, to be honest with you.
I thought you was getting a little personal there.
Yeah.
Good
Dalton,
job of working the body by Jason Alexander.
Yeah, I've noticed Dalton has done a really fantastic job of pushing himself off of the cage and back to center mat a couple times, and Jason Alexander is totally cognizant of this. Alexander works him right back to the cage. Very methodical grappling that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And one of the beautiful things about this, too, it's our first professional fight of the evening, so this is a 5-minute round.
Yeah.
If this were an amateur fight right now, we would have 1 minute left in this round. They would barely be getting any work done. They're already 2 minutes in.
Right.
If they have another 3 minutes left in this round, there's a lot of stuff that can happen.
Yeah. And these two are scrappers. Once again, very good job of utilizing. Oh, wow. Look how quick he took his back, and he's already got one. He's got his left hand around the neck. Dalton, a great job of turtling up, and he has great hips. Look how fast Dalton is, but Jason Alexander doing a good job. He may have this. This is really tight. This looks like it's really tight, but Dalton doing a great job fighting this.
Turning into him.
Wow, man, I would be shocked if he caught Dalton.
No, he doesn't have it, but God, he just definitely exposed a weakness. Dalton is a scrambling type guy. He loves to go on a quick scramble and find himself a better spot. And I think that Jason Alexander's realizing if he stops Dalton in his tracks with that, he can get positional and advance on that.
I love how Dalton's staying very, very explosive on the back. Even though he's on his back, he's got to watch that he's not doing any straight down elbows. He's got to arc them a little bit.
Right.
With the modern rules of professional MMA.
Dalton Brady's so explosive, I almost have to wonder if he made a stop at Mercedes Motorsports yesterday before the fight.
He cruised here fast, probably. Blew through customs.
Oh, boy.
Nice slam. Good job.
This is a great weight class for what's going on right now, too, because at this weight, the guys aren't so big that they can't be picked up and slammed. You know, you're not going to really see very many heavyweights pick a guy up off the ground like that and slam him, but they're not so small that they don't have the strength to do it. I really love seeing the way that these guys are going on the ground. They're very fast, very reactionary.
I love Dalton's active guard. Look how he keeps bringing his legs up high around Jason Alexander's head. Maybe if you're new to MMA or you're at Permanis and you're watching this and saying, what in the world is going on? These are actually really high-level skills here by both guys. Look how the right foot of Dalton is actually on the hip of Alexander. He's actually using that to maneuver his body to try to create enough position to look for a submission. You got to get positioned before you can go for the submission, Grant.
Yeah, and I got to kind of hand this to Dalton Brady right now. This is his first professional fight, and he is actively elbowing his opponent. And elbows are only legal to throw once you've made it to the professional level. You're not allowed to elbow whatsoever as an amateur.
Good job of shirking him off. Now, oh, look.
Oh, inverted triangle.
Yep, Dalton is just like a madman throwing those punches, just anything that can land. Alexander staying very composed. Oh, that might have hurt Dalton. That was a really hard straight down hammer fist.
He went to sleep like for a split second. Now
Jason's got to unload here. He's not in a dangerous position now. He's past the guard. He's got one leg out, so he doesn't have to worry much about being submitted. Dalton, nice job of getting to the other side. He's trying to catch an arm in there. Alexander straightened it out. Looks like he's got the elbow past the hips, like he may be out of danger. Good hammer fist.
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
Jason
look at
Alexander's
these guys going
exposing
at it.
a weakness right now with Dalton Brady. He is just cracking him with those.
He's going for this upside down triangle again, but Jason, both his...
It's almost like a rule. If you're going to go for the inverted triangle, you need to go for the Kimura. They are friends.
It looks like Dalton has a nasty cut started. It's going to be interesting to see if that blood is coming from, I can't tell from this angle if it's from the nose, Grant, the mouth, or it could be a cut around the eye. I'm not sure if it's under the eye or over the eye. Maybe we can get a better picture of that as Dalton's in his corner.
Yeah, we'll see him on the stool, see if they're tending to his wounds. We could be sending a cut man in right now to put a little Vaseline over the cut if that's what he has, possibly.
If it's a possibility, you get a shot on Dalton Brady. Let's see where this cut's at. Let's see what they're doing here to work on this. It's going to be very interesting because this could, thank you guys. Yeah.
I mean,
they already got the doctor in. The doctor's looking now. It looks like the cut is under the eye, so you don't have to worry as much as blood getting into the eye to inhibit the vision. So they're going to probably check this out real quick, but it looks like a nasty cut. I'm guessing from one of those hammer fists. What do you think, Grant?
Yeah, you know, the way that MMA gloves are constructed, there's a lot of exposed stitching around the out. Like as far as the, if you picture the meaty part of the bottom of your fist where the hammer fist goes, if you do a lot of hammer fists, I mean, there's a good chance that something could slice the skin from the bottom of that glove. It happens. Dalton Brady, though, I mean, in his last fight, his title defense at our last Gladiators of the Cage event, I saw Dalton Brady fight.
Are they calling this? The doctor, doctor nodded his head. He's letting him go. The doctor didn't look real convinced, though. He was saying, hey, this looks like a bad cut. If people aren't really certain of what MMA gloves look like, Grant, like he was mentioning, when those hammer fists come down, there's a stitching that holds that glove together, and it becomes almost very sharp.
Right.
Almost like if you had the backside of a plastic knife that you was using.
Exactly.
So, and when you drop that in a arcing motion, it will cut skin.
Wow, beautiful turning side kick there by Jason Alexander.
I think that was too much of a risk for Alexander to go for that. He needs to work on what has been working, the bread and butter, and work towards, I hate to say it, but work towards that cut.
Oh, yes.
You know, that's the sport of MMA. Dalton is setting up
for a professional
leg
fight. It's a pro fight. Get that foot lock, Dalton.
Yep. Good job by Alexander. He's got to keep spinning, step over. And there's that hammer fist right to that eye again. He's got to keep using that.
I mean, I think we can clearly see what Dalton's game plan is right now. He's going to try to grab that ankle and twist that foot.
And he may not have anything else that he's able to do at this point, but look at these twisting leg locks. He's got a beautiful knee bar. He's going for a toe hold. Jason Alexander squirming and scrambling. That toe hold is very dangerous, and I think it's not utilized enough in this sport. Great transition from knee bar to leg lock. Look, a big toe hold right now.
I had my left ankle fully reconstructed from this submission right here.
Wow.
It is a dangerous move.
This is one of the most dangerous moves. That's why you're not allowed to do this in amateur MMA. Jason Alexander doing a very good job staying in close. You have to stay close to your fighter to break this, Grant.
A lot of I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with Jason Alexander. He's just kind of watching, waiting to see if he's in danger.
He's waiting for that. He's setting up for those big shots. Dalton, unrelenting with his submissions, but, man, it just seems like Jason Alexander's picking his shots.
I think I just saw Chip Snyder pull Dalton Brady's toes out of the fence.
You know, I thought that you couldn't do that, but I've seen him get away with it a couple times so far. I know on some of the bigger shows they'll stop that now. Look at those shots.
Jason Alexander's really putting it to him.
Oh, good shot. Another right hand. He needs to step a leg over and get past that guard.
There's no doubt Dalton Brady's a tough kid, man. He's all grit, all heart. I mean,
even in bad positions, Grant, Dalton keeps moving. He's not laying there and just waiting. He's making his opponent work, but he's sure taking some heavy shots to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would almost venture to say that Jason Alexander is a bigger, more muscular fighter on this night. I mean, I'm not sure if I remember exactly the last fight, but it just appears that Alexander's not having a very difficult time just kind of muscling through Dalton Brady right
Dalton's
now.
going to try to take the back here. This could get dangerous. This could get dangerous. He's got an arm trap, and it almost looks like if he can push through, this is going to be a strength test right here. If he has enough left, he may be able to get out of this and get control. Jason Alexander does not want to be on his back. And Dalton's looking for an arm-in guillotine choke. Will he pull guard to try to get this? No, he's going to take the back. Jason needs to get up. Good job of Jason to get up. Really impressed. No, this is the chess match. He's knowing what move's coming next, but this armbar could get tight. But he's up against the cage, Grant. I don't think he's going to have enough room to extend.
Right, not easy to extend your body out and straighten out the arm of your opponent when your back's against the fence like that. Dalton's a great grappler, though. I mean, he's
high level,
not just a great grappler, but a great MMA grappler. He is the guy that can submit you while you're punching him in the face. That's the difference between just a grappler and then a fight grappler. You know what I mean?
Right. And Grant, you and I both train. There's a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys and grapplers that simply don't like to get hit. Not saying anyone likes to get hit, but they're two different sports. You know, people that play tennis or cricket don't like to get hit. Jiu-Jitsu is about absolute technique and getting to the point where your body can't take anymore and tapping out. When you're getting punched in the face, a lot of submission guys, they don't like that at all.
Absolutely. And you know what? We are giving a lot of clout right now to Dalton Brady because we both love watching him fight. We've talked about this, but Jason Alexander, going into this fight, having lost their first bout, Jason Alexander is implementing a near-perfect game plan for the feat of Dalton Brady right now.
Look at this.
Oh, boy.
This is deep. This is really deep.
That's very deep.
Wow, and he's got him flattened out. Dalton cannot get his knees to the mat. He tapped.
That's it.
Wow.
Jason Alexander. I was just saying, Jason Alexander is implementing a perfect game plan, wearing Dalton Brady down, exactly what he needs to do. And there it is. He wore Dalton down enough to where Dalton just couldn't fight anymore. He was bleeding. He's tired. He's been beaten up. He probably has a little bit of head trauma. And then Jason Alexander sinks in the choke, gets the win.
And Dalton was forced to take risks, and that's what he did. And he gave up positioning, and he gave up a bad position, and he let Alexander on his back. But credit to Alexander. Got the hooks in, was able to keep Dalton down. And I didn't think I would see Dalton be out-grappled, but that's what he was tonight. He was out-grappled.
Absolutely. And I don't want to put it as a knock on Dalton Brady.
Not at all.
Jason Alexander really deserves the win that he just got. That was a fantastic fight. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see the end of that fight.
Jason came in with a wonderful game plan here and was able to execute it. He stayed close. He didn't allow Dalton to scramble and extend.
And here's the thing. Had they not been up against the fence like that, Dalton may have been able to roll forward, scramble, do a somersault, something to get out of that. But it was just a matter of time. Jason was beating him down so hard, and there's the finish.
Beautiful, beautiful choke. Great submission, great setup. But all credit to Alexander, because people may think, oh, he just lucked out and got him the cage. No, Jason Alexander dictated where that fight was going to be fought and kept him up against the cage. And that's what we call cage control.
Absolutely.
And cage control leads to positions, and positions lead to submissions.
Absolutely. Dalton Brady, at the end of that fight, you could see he had nothing left. I mean, no knock on him. He gave it everything he had, and it just wasn't enough.
You and I are both big fans of Dalton Brady. Still am.
Let's send it over to our ring announcer, Dan Bogan, for the official decision.
Maybe fight of the night. That was outstanding. Let's hear it for both of them. The end came at 3 minutes and 54 seconds of round 2 by tap out via the rear naked choke for your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Jason Alexander! Mackenzie, take it away.
Hi. Good, how are you? Good. It looks like you had control most of that fight.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part about this fight?
Just keeping up the pace that I run, you know what I mean? Like, not really getting hit, just constantly fucking moving.
Do you have anybody to thank for tonight?
My cornerman right here. I'm bad with names, you know. Thank my mom. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Love you. My brother from Cali, my other brother. My brother Joe, all my fans, Tyler for bringing me, working out with me. Everybody from LaBeouf, his buddies, everybody.
All right.
3 Elements, MMA. Great gym out there. 3-ring box. Edinburgh University. I bounce all around, but yep, that's about it.
All right, congratulations on the win.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Jason Alexander.
There you have it, folks. Truly one of the greatest post-fight interviews I've ever seen in my life. Jason Alexander, highly dominant performance. Really, he brought an A game, executed a perfect game plan to get that rear naked choke on Dalton Brady, a class act grappler in his own right. I mean, it's a very, very interesting thing to see a fight like that play out.
I'll tell you, Jason Alexander is a serious, serious threat.
Yeah.
In Gladiators of the Cage.
Oh, definitely.
He's got to be on the radar for. I mean, that's his first fight as a pro, and man, that was a high-level pro fight, and he avenged his only loss, so that even makes it sweeter.
I have no doubt that we'll be seeing him again soon. Coming up next, we've got our second professional bout of the evening. We've got Jacob Bone taking on Zach Grossman at 145 pounds. But first, a word from our sponsors.